What's up, guys? Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our Week 1 match for aABL Season 5 in the Magma Division, taking on Zach with the Weather Gamer and the Chicago Charizard X. Again, I will try to remember to put a link to his channel in the description. If not, my apologies, Zach, but people know that you have a channel now, so they can search you up themselves if they need to. Yeah, let's run through Zach's team that he could have brought. So he has Z Celesteela, Z Greninja, Whimsicott, Espeon, Seismitoad, Cryogonal, Dusknoir, Mega Manectric, Infernape, Hydreigon, Archeops, and Z Victreebel. I know that he only had to choose 6, but this sort of caught me off guard in the ones that he chose. So he ends up bringing the Espeon, which I was a little bit skeptical about. I thought it might not show up, potentially. There was definitely reasons for it not to come. Pardon me. But it's here, so there's that. Seismitoad, which, again, I felt there were reasons that it wouldn't come, but it was also his only way of dealing with Mega Charizard X. Archeops, which is somewhat of an offensive threat against me. I don't think it's all there is against me. I think Mega Manectric not being here is really huge. I was really scared of Mega Manectric. I didn't have a lot that I could do to it, and my Acaberry Ferrothorn was not designed for that. It was designed for the Infernape that I knew was absolutely coming. There's no chance in hell that Infernape was not coming against Triple Grass this week. So that's kind of where that is. Oh, pardon the yawn. Hydreigon not coming is a little bit weird to me. Cryogonal also kind of just blew through me with Freeze Dry. I had 0 Freeze Dry resists on the entire team, and it's not here. And Dusknoir and Victreebel, I was sort of on the fence about. Dusknoir in more of a maybe it can handle Megazord X if Seismitoad doesn't come sort of idea there, or potentially as a Secret Sword switch in for Keldeo, which otherwise doesn't exist. Victreebel had a solid matchup against both my water types. I really didn't have the best ways to hit Victreebel with either of them, and Victreebel could kind of set up potentially on those, especially if he wanted to bring like a Z Sunny Day set or something along those lines, because it is Z Victreebel. Again, I'm a little bit surprised to not see the Greninja. I definitely thought Greninja might make an appearance here. It had a really solid matchup against all of the grass types that I have. It still matched up really well against those grass types, and it matched up well against Slowking in particular. Not Keldeo, but it matched up well against Slowking. And I think that Slowking proves to be quite the problem against the roster that he brought. So let me just recap my team a little bit, but you should check out the team builder if you want a full breakdown. Akka Split Defense Ferrothorn. I'm a Spit F Zapdos, AV Slowking, Specs Keldeo, Bulky Zardex, and Scarf Diggersby. I'm just going to lead off with something. I think I'll lead off with Keldeo, honestly, because it looked like it just claimed one right off the bat. Potentially, depending on the Seismitoad's ability. I have no idea if it's like a Rain Dance Swift Swim or not. Excuse me. But Specs Hydro Pump is going to two-shot a Whimsicott, and that looks really threatening. So I'm just going to lead off with the Keldeo here, as he's going to leave the Espeon. Obviously, Espeon outspeeds me, so I want none of that. Slowking's my dedicated check to this, so that's what I'm going to go hard into. And we see the Slash Rock coming off. That damage doesn't look like what his item is. And actually, let me look, because when I was calcing it, it looked like it was forced to be like Twisted Spoon. Where? Okay, I gotta find my DMs with Zach here, and then find his paste. Okay, so here's his paste. Because I'm curious if he's modest now, because it did look like it was Twisted Spoon damage. But that it is a modest Espeon. So my Keldeo actually would have outsped that Espeon turn 1 and been able to blow it back, but I was threatened anyways. So he opts not to speed creep my Keldeo, which is interesting. He wasn't speed creeping my Keldeo with his Infernape either. That is also really interesting to note. I didn't even consider that in the game. I was not considering it. He didn't speed creep my Keldeo with his Whimsicott either. So Keldeo actually outsped his entire team because I was running Timid Max Speed. But yeah, I just, it looked like it was Twisted Spoon damage to me. He was actually Colbur Berry, which is not going to get popped because I don't have any dark coverage on the team. But what was he expecting to have dark coverage? Oh, probably Persian. Probably Persian. Um, Anyways, that's what the Slowking is here for, is this Espeon, especially if he's a Calm Mind variant. So I'm going to click Dragon Tail just in case he is. He reveals the Signal Beam, and I'm going to Dragon Tail him out. What I should have done was Calc to see if that was modest or not. Seismitoad comes out, but it's very weak to Grass Knot. He couldn't kill me with an Earthquake, but now he kind of can, as he's going to double into the Celesteela on my Ferrothorn. So really good play on his part. He's going to sub here on my Leech Seed, which is another good play on his part. I wasn't expecting sub. This Celesteela is definitely lacking coverage then if it has sub. And we see the Air Slash doing pitiful damage to my Slowking. And I'm going to double into my Zapdos on what I expect to be a grass move, but it's actually not. Well, it is a grass move. It's Leech Seed. So we've seen sub, Air Slash, and Leech Seed, which means he needs to have Stone Edge to hit this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Defog, get these rocks away so that my Zard is set up in a good spot. If he does have the Stone Edge, he's gonna show it here, and if he doesn't have the Stone Edge, he can't kill my Zapdos, which means I get to roost on it the next turn, the following turn. So he is going to go for the Stone Edge on my Defog, but it's actually Z Stone Edge. So we reveal basically his entire set. We've seen all 4 moves now, and we see that he's an attack beast boosting variant. So that sort of tells us a little bit more as well about his set. Tells us he definitely doesn't have special defense investment he's got a lot of attack investment if he's got any special defense investment in order to do that. So I can just get my regen in with Slowking here and break his sub with Fire Blast. If he was bulky enough, Scald wasn't going to break his sub, but it turns out that we'll find out later that that he isn't bulky enough. Crit didn't matter on that one. Fire Blast was always breaking his sub, no matter how bulky he was. I'm just going to go into my Keldeo here on what I thought might be a sub, but it really didn't matter because if he didn't sub and I ate the Air Slash, I could still chew it, and I don't need health on my Keldeo all that much. We're going to find out that Scald indeed does break the sub, and he's not actually going to win that 1v1. He's doubling into Seismitoad here, and he's not Water Absorbed, so that's really interesting as he just sacks it off to my Slowking. Really interesting that he's not Water Absorb on the Seismitoad. I thought I would just give it health, and then I'd be able to kill it with Grass Knot the next turn. Or likely I probably would have clicked Dragon Tail or Fire Blast. And even if that didn't kill the Seismitoad, I still had outs in that scenario. But he told me after the game he was Poison Touch, which is really interesting because I looked at his moveset and he had nothing to touch me with. Like no touching moves, no Poison Jab with Poison Touch for 60% poison or anything like that. No Ice Punch or anything like that. They were all non-contact moves with Poison Touch. So that's really strange. But he mentioned he wasn't expecting either of my waters to come. I don't think that's the right play either way. You definitely want to be Water Absorb, anticipating the waters. Like, if there's no Rain Dance on the set, it makes no sense to be Swift Swim here. Poison Touch with that moveset is irrelevant, so the only other viable option is Water Absorb anyways, and even if I didn't bring my other 2 waters, I might have water coverage on something, right? So Water Absorb is definitely the play on this Seismitoad, but it didn't have it. So the Zardex check is gone. It got obliterated by Grass Knot early on, and Zardex is looking pretty fire here. So Whimsicott comes out. I'm just going to make a double into my Ferrothorn, knowing that I can essentially take on the Whimsicott, but Espeon leads me to go into Slowking here, scouting for the HP Fire. I am Occaberry, of course, but I want to scout the HP Fire early on so that I can blow the Occaberry on a turn where I get a T-Wave off against something. And rather than trying to T-Wave the Espeon, obviously I could just Gyro Ball there, but Slowking is healthy enough that it just takes on this Espeon extremely well. I'm going to go for a Scald here as he gets more Signal Beam damage off on me. We should be able to 2-shot it. Well, I 2-shot it with the burn at the very least. And he's going to reveal Wish here. So luckily for me, my Scald roll plus the burn damage is enough to kill him off as the Infernape comes in. Now, there shouldn't be a way that he can kill me with U-turn, which was the main thing I was counting on. I wasn't entirely sure what his entire moveset was going to be on this Infernape. But we'll see that it is actually going to be Thunder Punch. And I thought that he wouldn't be able to kill me, depending on his moveset, right? Because I thought he might be Scarfed. He isn't actually running a Scarfer. We'll notice, I'm going to think that the Archeops is Scarfed in a sec as well, but that's just sort of what was going on with the Infernape here, is that I was anticipating it to potentially be Scarfed here and maybe go for a U-turn. I lived the U-turn. And I can do whatever, but besides that, Slowking doesn't have any use at all anymore now that Espeon's dead. And Celesteela isn't behind a sub, so I can always play around the Celesteela a little bit better now that it's not behind a sub. I don't necessarily need Slowking around to deal with that. I've got Thunder Punch on the Diggersby to hit it, and my Charizard X. So I am just going to sack off the Slowking here, and it is Thunder Punch. Turns out to be Adamant, Life Orb, Iron Fisted, Boosted, Thunder Punch. He gets the Wish back. It doesn't matter all that much. Keldeo's in. I figure if I'm going to speed tie him, it doesn't matter. He can't kill me with a Thunder Punch, and he's not Z-move because the Celesteela is Z-move. Is he even Z Infernape? I think he is. He's not Z Infernape, so he couldn't even see me even if he wanted to. But I live the Life Orb Thunder Punch for sure from this Infernape with my Keldeo, and he has absolutely nothing for a Spec Scald. So what he's going to do is go into his Celesteela, and he's not going to chew this very well. He's going to do a Trillion, 55, and he's going to get two-shot by it. He's basically forced into Whimsicott here, which brings in my Ferrothorn pretty safely on the Moonblast. I'm actually going to miss the first Thunder Wave on his Tailwind, and then I'm going to get it off as he pops my Occaberry here with a crit. Probably didn't matter. I'm not entirely sure if he actually would have killed me or not based on the HP fire damage. Like the crit Occaberry damage that he did to me, I doubt that an HP fire would have killed me from that range even if I didn't have it. But essentially T-Wave was free for me, right? He doesn't have a Cleric on his team anymore. His Heal Beller's dead. Crippling the Infernape, the Archeops, or the Whimsicott is all good for me. So what I'm going to do is double into the Charizard on what I expected to either be a Moonblast or an HP Fire. It really didn't matter. There's no way he was doing any damage to my Zard on that turn. We burn another turn of Tailwind as he's fully paralyzed. So I do get to have a little bit of HP here, and I'm just going to Dragon Dance in his face. I don't care if he's got Encore. We'll sort of scout out if he does have Encore. He gets a Moonblast off, which doesn't matter all that much, and now his Tailwind's gone, so I can just kill his Whimsicott. And he's going to bring in his Archeops. So, we haven't seen a Scarfer on this team, and so that leads me to believe this is Scarf Archeops, which would outspeed my Charizard X. It looks like he's speed creeping Charizard X with his Archeops because he wasn't speed creeping Keldeo with it. And so that means that I'm going to switch. And my switch is definitely Ferrothorn to punish this a little bit more. Maybe get it closer to Defeatist range, or as close to Defeatist range as I can get it. And he's actually going to show that he's got some coverage for my Keldeo. I thought he might click a Rock-type move, but he's actually got the coverage for the Keldeo. So he predicted the Keldeo to switch on the Rock-type move, but I was predicting him on that. And then I get a Thunder Wave off on the Infernape. So like I said before with the Whimsicott, Thunder Wave was free. It was a really free click if he stayed in, because then I know he doesn't have a Scarfer, and then Keldeo is in a position where it actually just wins the game by clicking Scald twice. Or I paralyze the Infernape on the double, which is exactly what happened. I get to go to my Charizard on the Infernape here and chew whatever he wants to go for. It is a Thunder Punch, so again, he predicted the Keldeo, and I'm going to roost up. I thought he might have Mach Punch, but he doesn't have it. And Earthquake is going to do quite a lot. I realize it's probably not in my best interest to roost on this thing. I'm going to die to the next Earthquake anyways. So I'm going to get off as much damage as I can with the Dragon Claw there. And he might kill himself with Life Orb Breakaway soonish, but now he's in a range where Thunder Punch will kill him from Diggersby, and depending on the Archeops spread, he should die to Thunder Punch from Diggersby as well. Again, it turns out he is not Scarf, so Scarf Diggersby is able to pick up the game for us, and we pick up the win 3-0. So, a couple things here. Again, Zach didn't prep for Keldeo, it looks like, at all, because he didn't speed creep Keldeo with anything. To me, it looks like he was speed creeping Mega Charizard X with a lot of these Pokemon. Like, most of these speed creeps really look like they're creeping over Megazord X, if not all of them. That's one thing I was really scared of in prep, was the speed distribution on his team, because almost everything outsped my team. And I was really relying on Keldeo to be the fast on this week, as well as Scarf Diggersby, which I had EV'd to outspeed the Mega Manectric, which you would know if you watched the Team Builder. So Keldeo outspeeding everything, probably, you know, if I had known that, in some form, then Keldeo probably just wins the game after killing the Celesteela. I can honestly, after killing the Celesteela, I can probably just keep clicking Scald. Depending on how much the Moonblast damage was doing from the Whimsicott, I'm not sure. He had Psychic on the Whimsicott, which was probably there for the Nidoking. So there are definitely a few cool things this game. I enjoyed the matchup. The mons that he brought made it fairly easy for me. Again, the Celesteela sort of was locked into a place where it wasn't going to be able to beat Zapdos plus my Waters. Or, sorry, Zapdos plus Slowking. with sub plus leech seed. So there were there were variants of Celesteela that I wasn't super scared of. That one was kind of annoying, but it wasn't the worst thing in the world. Other final thoughts, missing the T-Wave on Ferrothorn ended up not mattering at all. That was kind of the only hacks in this game. Everything else was pretty standard in terms of what it was. Bulky Charizard X put in quite a lot of work. Tanked that hit from the Infernape, of course, and was able to get a kill off on it. A hit off on it. I was really impressed with Bulky Charizard X just in the matchup. It looked really strong, and I think Mega Charizard X is going to be one of those mons on paper that just looks absolutely amazing. And then in practice, Keldeo and Diggersby are just really good. So I was pretty happy with how this game went overall. Next week we take on Zegar, Tulip, and the New Jersey Sobbles. So keep an eye out for the team builder, and I will catch you guys for that.